Welcome back, folks. About 2.5 years ago, I had the Xperia 5 Mark IV, a phone that I had for quite some time. I had it during the time that I got married, while we were away on our honeymoon. It was a phone that had a lot of issues at the time, which I covered extensively with RAM management, overheating, the frame rate of the screen dropping to 60 Hertz quite a lot. There was quite a lot going on with it. So I thought I would yeah, I got it in the white. Well, there is the Japanese version. But I thought I'd give it a go and see how it stacked up now in 2025. It's literally 2.5 years since I covered this phone. Is it any better? Let's see. First thing to say, I still absolutely love using this thing. I miss using Xperia. I'm really annoyed that it's impossible to get an Xperia now unless you're literally just paying out the full price for one, which is like £1,200–1,300 for the Xperia 1 Mark 7 that's out currently. And yeah, I would get one on my contract quite often, but now that it's not available, I have to, yeah, skip it, unfortunately. But the 5 Mark IV, found this on eBay. I think it was around £240. I have to say that I still adore this form factor. 21:9. The 5 series, obviously very small. This is a very compact phone, and it just feels absolutely fantastic in the hand. Fingerprint reader, exactly where you want it. No cutouts for the cameras at the front, so we've got a full screen. We've got a more frosted finish on the back and a matte finish on the sides. It just feels very, very nice to hold. Obviously, you've got the benefit of the micro SD card, you've got the headphone jack. In this tiny phone, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which when you look at other phones, for example, like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, that still runs a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. That phone is enormous. This thing's tiny and has the same size battery, which is kind of crazy, which is one of the things that I really liked about this. Even though this has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which it was fabricated by Samsung, and it was just like a nuclear power plant. The thing just overheated all the time. And if you didn't have a really good thermal solution, you had absolutely no chance of it running well. Unfortunately, back then, Sony were not the best. But if you want a phone just for general use, you're not that interested in cameras, you're not interested in having all the latest updates, you're not interested in being able to play all the latest games, this phone is actually a really, really good value, and I actually would recommend buying it even now in 2025. Now, I don't know if this is because this is the Japanese version of the phone, but it's still running Android 14, and the last update, security-wise, was April of this year. For a lot of people, it's not really a problem. I mean, I still see so many people running things like Galaxy S10s. So, you know, if people are happy to run that kind of phone, then you'd be totally fine with something like this. Cameras now, and cameras in good light, are still pretty decent. And you know, I got some really good images back then with the phone, but it is starting to show its age. Took a few pictures side by side with the Pixel 10 Pro XL, a phone that is still not my favorite for photography, but you know, it's something that, it's a phone that a lot of people sort of put up there as the gold standard for point and shoot. Not that the Xperia was really a point and shoot camera, but it has its moments. The autofocus on an Xperia is still absolutely sublime, by the way. Excellent video features. Video Pro app is excellent. You can do live streaming with it. Quality stuff. I wish they'd kept it for the latest Xperias, because the software on the Xperia 1 Mark 6 and the 1 Mark 7 is just trash by comparison. And you know, the sensors on this are very small. The main camera is not bad. It's okay. It's still pretty decent for day-to-day stuff. But the telephoto, you know, it's only like I think it's 2.5x. It's a very weak telephoto. In good light, you can get a decent image, but it's not fantastic. And the ultra-wide is also not very good either. Selfie cam, terrible. So you're not buying this for the cameras really, but if you wanted to do something like a bit of YouTube, or you know, you could even use it as an overhead for YouTube, because it's got product showcase like a lot of the Sony cameras have, and it's very cheap. A lot of people will think, oh, I need to buy a dedicated Sony camera to do this top-down coverage that I want to do of unboxing phones and whatever else. Buy an Xperia. Just buy a cheap Xperia of the last few years, and it will do the job. Sure, you've got the overheating aspect with this phone if you're recording for too long, or if you're in a hotter climate, but if you turn off all of the other features, turn off the 120 hertz, turn off mobile data, turn off Wi-Fi, whatever else, it'll do the job. And yeah, it's a lot cheaper than buying a dedicated camera for that. But just to close, I know this isn't the longest video, but I only got this because I needed to check if a piece of hardware that I've got that I sold and had returned to me still worked, which is the Sony Vlog monitor. It's something that works with the Xperia 5 Mark IV. So that's why I got it. I find myself wanting to keep it. But as a day-to-day, you know, having a micro SD, banging all your music and stuff on there, if you've got downloads and everything, you know, all those FLAC files, high-res audio, stick a DAC in. These phones are still very unique, and if you are not needing all the bells and whistles of other more modern flagships, this will do the job, and it will get you through the day easily with that battery. It's phenomenal. If you're not pushing the phone, the battery on this is excellent. So, can I recommend the 5 Mark IV in 2025? You may say, well, what about all those RAM issues that you had before? Where I literally had all of the apps closing, no matter what I did. So I'd literally go out of an app into another app. I'd want to go back to the app I was in, and it'd have to reboot. It'd have to start the app all over again. Not having that experience now, which tells me that Sony fixed it. Sony do tend to fix the major issues that occur with their phones. Problem being is that those major issues don't tend to get fixed for close to a year, because they only tend to do it when there's major Android updates and things. They've got a very small software team. So I don't expect things to be much better with the 1 Mark VII, but then the last couple of years, things haven't really been so bad. I had no issues on the 1 Mark VI, for instance, that I can remember, other than the fact that I tried to connect to YouTube to do live streaming through the new camera app, and it wouldn't work. So maybe that's been fixed now, who knows? But yeah, this is running a hell of a lot better. I've had no issues with RAM management. I've opened multiple apps. They haven't closed in the background, and that was my main bugbear at the time. I kind of just want to keep it. If I could take this exact body from Sony and have modern internals, better camera hardware, even if it's still like a 3x zoom, I'd be fine with that. I would buy this in a heartbeat. I'm not even kidding. This would be my perfect phone. Sony, get your act together. I do not want to see you disappear from the market. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. The light is disappearing. The camera's doing a good job of keeping us lit. And yeah, stay grounded. I'll see you in the next one.